Ciao.
Okay, I need to know if I'm the only one who feels this way. You're watching a movie or TV show, you're invested, the story actually is good for once, the characters are interesting, maybe you're watching it with your family, which is already dangerous enough, and then two characters look at each other, they pause, the music changes, they start kissing, and you're like, okay, it's fine, they're kissing. And then the kissing continues, and you're still like, okay. Then suddenly, everyone's clothes are gone, and you're sitting there thinking, oh, here we go. And look, before anybody gets mad at me, I'm not sitting here saying sex is bad, ban it from movies. I'm an adult, I understand. I'm also not one of those people who think movies from the old days were somehow completely innocent. Hollywood has been obsessed with sex, romance, and attractive people. This is basically forever. My issue is something else. Why does it sometimes feel like a movie or TV show is going really well and then suddenly stops the story to say, by the way, these two characters are having sex? And sometimes the scene makes perfect sense, sometimes it tells you something about the characters, sometimes, yes, it is important, or sometimes it's uncomfortable on purpose. But other times, I genuinely feel like I'm watching something that could have been communicated in about 3 seconds. Like, okay, they like each other, I understand, they had sex, okay, I got it. The message has been received. Can we get back to the plot now? Can we not have another 5 minutes of them making out and doing other stuff, you know, that I can't show on YouTube? According to a UCLA survey from 2023, 47.5% of people between 13 and 24 said sex wasn't needed for the plot of most TV shows and movies. Then in UCLA's 2024 follow-up survey, that number jumped to 62.4%. And a lot of young people also said they wanted to see more friendships and platonic relationships on screen, which I find it really interesting because for years, it felt like the assumption was younger people want everything to be more explicit. But apparently a lot of them are sitting here actually going, can two people just be friends for once? So that's what I want to talk about. Are movies and TV actually becoming too sexual, or are we just getting tired of sex scenes that don't feel like they have a reason to exist? Because those are two completely different conversations. And honestly, I think the second one is way more interesting. First of all, let's get something out of the way. Sex in movies is not new, like at all. Hollywood didn't wake up in 2020 and suddenly go, wait a minute, people have sex? Movies have always been obsessed with romance and attraction. The difference is what filmmakers were actually allowed to show. For a long time, Hollywood had strict rules about what could and couldn't appear on screen. So filmmakers had to get creative. They couldn't always show you everything. Instead, they had to imply things. A look could mean something. A kiss could mean something. Two people walking into a room and then cutting to the next morning, you knew exactly what happened. They didn't need a narrator to come in and go, for those of you who are confused, they just had sex. We got it.
And if the case isn't settled by then...
And honestly, sometimes having those limitations made filmmakers more creative, because when you can't show everything, you have to build tension. You have to make the audience imagine things, and suddenly, what you don't show is more interesting than what you do. Then those restrictions started disappearing. Movies became more open, TV became more open, cable pushed things further, then streaming came along and basically said, yeah, go ahead. And again, I'm not saying that's bad. There are stories that absolutely benefit from being able to honestly portray adult relationships. The problem is, just because you can show something doesn't automatically mean you should. And that's where I think things are getting a little weird.
Oh, you're following me. Oh, I didn't know that.
Here's my biggest issue. If I'm watching a movie and there's a sex scene, I don't immediately go, disgusting. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm asking, what did the scene do? Did it tell us something? Is this just sex bait? Is it just bait for people to go, oh my goodness? Like, you know what I'm saying? Come on.
And she flew to the UK to make a film with him.
Sometimes you just watch a scene and when it's over, you're in the exact same place you were before. It was just a sex scene to show more time. Nothing changed. The plot didn't really move unless maybe in the future it does. It's like the movie took a quick break from being a movie, and I know someone is going to say, not every scene has to move the plot forward, and you're right, absolutely. A scene can build atmosphere. A scene can show personality. A scene can just be funny, and I guess a scene can only just be a sex scene because it's a sex scene. Honestly, this video is gonna be so controversially random, but whatever. Honestly, I don't even think it's gonna be controversial. I just think it's gonna be just an interesting video, I guess. Like the video, subscribe. I'm just saying a scene can exist because it makes you feel something, but it should still be doing something. Imagine watching a 2-hour movie and in the middle, one character just starts juggling for 7 minutes. Nobody mentions it. It has nothing to do with anything. Then the movie continues. What was that scene for? And that's kind of how some sex scenes feel. Not because sex is somehow worse than juggling, although honestly, a 7-minute juggling scene... Actually, no, never mind. Okay, I'm gonna talk about one specific thing here. Remember Riverdale? The show Riverdale with Betty and, you know, Camila Mendes, Veronica, that's her actual name and the character name. Yeah, that show had a lot of freaking sex scenes. Am I right? I mean, it started becoming more of a sex show than a actual show about murder mysteries and mysteries. What? This is what I'm saying. The show, it just becomes a little too sex focused and less about the actual plot of the movie. I mean, the show started showing superpowers in the middle of a freaking, like, what was going on? You know what I think is the funniest part? Sometimes movies don't trust the audience at all. Two characters flirt, okay, they kiss, got it. They walk into a bedroom, all right, I'm understanding on what's gonna happen here. Sometimes you even reach the point where you're just like, come on, just move the freaking, let's get going with the something else. It's worse when you're watching a movie, and especially the recent movies that have been coming out with your family members and especially your parents. You're just there like, you know those classic things where you pull out your phone, you check a notification, but realistically, there's nothing to check. And you're just there like, great movie, right? Yeah. Now here's the thing, some of the best movies ever made use sex and intimacy incredibly well.
Hi, Mr. Lombardo.
Because sex can tell you a lot about people. It can tell you who has power in a relationship. It can show vulnerability, manipulation, loneliness, love, obviously, jealousy, desperation. I guess it can even be funny or awkward because sex isn't always this perfect sexy movie moment. Sometimes it's uncomfortable and weird and all over the place. I also think streaming changed the conversation because when you were making something for traditional television, there were more limitations, I guess. You had time restrictions, commercial breaks, broadcast standards, kind of certain things you just couldn't show. Streaming changed a lot of that. And again, freedom is good. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not asking for streaming services to suddenly become Disney. But here's the thing, when you have no restrictions, restraint becomes a skill. Anybody can put everything on screen. Not everybody knows when to stop. And I think that's one of the biggest differences between something feeling mature and something just feeling explicit. This is something I really think Hollywood needs to understand. Just because something has sex, drugs, violence, and a lot of swearing doesn't make it mature. You can have an R-rated show with the emotional depth. It's true. And you can have a PG movie that completely destroys you emotionally. Maturity is about what you're saying, not how many times somebody takes their clothes off. And I think sometimes studios and creators confuse the two. They think, how do we make this feel like an adult show? And the answer becomes nudity. Make the characters interesting, give them complicated relationships. Then you can add the sex scenes and make them more, you know, driven to the story.
No.
So the real question is sex in movies and television getting out of hand? Sometimes, but I don't think the solution is to remove sex from movies. That would be dumb. I think sex is a part of life, romance is a part of life, you know, we all have it in our lives. I think just movies should be allowed to explore a little bit of it. Don't just do a sex scene because it's a sex scene. Don't have people be horny on screen, or don't have people be horny off of the screen. While you're watching it, I don't want to just be horny and, you know, being like, oh, I'm sorry, this is just so dumb. The question isn't, should sex be allowed in movies? Of course it should. The real question is, what does this scene add? And if the answer is it develops the characters, great. I just want sex scenes to not run on for 7 minutes long. Because at the end of the day, when I'm watching a movie with my parents, I don't want to feel weird. All right? I'm in my 20s now, and it just still feels weird. What's your opinion? I feel like I'm gonna have a lot of discussions in this video, but I wanna hear y'all's opinions. Do you think sex scenes should still be a part of movies the way it is right now, with just regular sex scenes being shown? Or do you think I'm kinda doing something here? And please don't come at me, because I'm not saying sex scenes shouldn't be in movies. They should, but I'm just saying something different, okay? Have a good one.